Shabbat Shalom, brethren. Hello, howdy, and hi. Today we're going to continue on with a series of submitting to the Word. But I think we need to go in and take a look at what that really means and who the Word is. I think most of us know, but we need to know a fuller explanation of the Word. That word is debar in Hebrew. We also need to know a little bit more about the one who was the Word. So let's establish a little bit so that when you're submitting to the Word, you understand it. So many are not submitting to the Word. They're submitting to something else. And today they're teaching this. And I would say if anyone who is out there teaching you any of the Hebrew, and they're not teaching you that the fullness of a Hebrew word is its root and even its letters, how it's spelled. And you cannot fully understand the richness, the fullness, and the context and all of its variations of meaning if you're not studying it in the Hebrew. And that means every letter, its root, everything that ties it together. So, of course, context is always key, but if anyone ever tells you that a Hebrew word means just this, they are unlearned. They're unwise. Do not follow men, because so many will teach you the wrong way. They're blind. And if you're searching to come out of the darkness and you're kind of blinded by this all, then you don't want to follow somebody else who's blinded by their pride. So you want to search the scriptures daily, and you want to study to show yourself approved. You cannot fully understand Scripture in the language that we speak today, this Anglo-Saxon English variation of so many amalgamations of language. So I always encourage you, go in, look at it in the Hebrew, look at the root of that Hebrew word, look at even the letters and what they mean, and you'll get this bigger and bigger picture. I mean, honestly, if you're studying in the English, you have this kind of vision. Then you start to get the concordance out and your vision opens up. Then you start really studying out the letters and the roots and the meanings, and the blinders come off. And now you have a fuller, bigger picture to look at. And so many people are avoiding that. They don't want to learn a new language, don't think they can learn a new language, but you're just cheating yourself, because this is how we're to study Scripture. To fully understand what it means, you have to understand Hebrew idioms, you have to understand Hebrew sayings, you have to understand parabolic speech, hyperbolic speech, you have to understand all of this stuff. So, without further ado, let's get into what the Word, who the Word, and what you're submitting to. And then we can build on that. All right, guys, so let's go in and take a look. All right, hide me. And we'll start off with debar. Now that's the word for word. So it's the part of speech, it's masculine. It's debar, means speech or word. And as you go in, you will see that it means so much more. It means accounts or acts. It means advice and affairs, agreements, amount, annals. That's chronicles. Answer, anything. Something that's asked, the business or the case. It means cases, causes, charges, chronicles, chronicle, claims, commandments, Torah, commands, the concerns, or to be concerned with, conditions, conduct, conversation, counsel, customs, dealings, decree, deeds, desires, disputes, goings and doings, duty, edicts, events, fulfillment, ideas, instructions, Torah, Torah, manner, matters, message, oath. Okay, if you're not catching all of these, that he was the Word right from the beginning. If you're not catching this, that he was the oath, the message, he was the promises, he was the plan, he was the plot, he was the portion, he was the promise, the proposal, the proposed, He was the proven, the purposed, the question. He was the ration and the reason. He was the records and the regard. And he rendered to us. He replied to us. He reported to his Father. He gave reports to us of what his Father gave him to say and do. He requires us to follow these words. They're the rules. It says same thing, sayings, so much, something, song, speak, talk, tasks, and talking. Theme, thing or things at your word, things the word, this, thoughts, verdict, way, words, work, required. That's just for debar. And I took out about 25 different other words because it was like so long. I was like, wow, in a way it's kind of repetitive. But that's just debar, the word. Those are all the things that word means, implies, or are tied to. And it doesn't just mean one of those things. It means when you're talking about the word, you're talking about the Messiah, it means every single one of those things. And there is a way to apply it to it. That's what I mean. If you don't understand Hebrew, if you're not researching and studying the Hebrew, you cannot understand the fullness of Scripture. You can't. And if somebody's teaching you differently, find someone else to teach you because they lack understanding. So, in Yohanan, or what we call John 1:1, what's it say? In the beginning was the Word. What was the Word? The Aleph and Taw. The Aleph and Taw is what we call, where we get the word Aleph. They call it the Aleph Bet or the Aleph Taw. It's the first and last letter. It's the entirety of every letter in the Hebrew language and every word and everything spoken from those letters. And in the beginning was the Word. That's Bereshit bara Elohim Aleph To. Okay, that is what it literally says in Bereshit or Genesis. Bereshit, which in the beginning, bara, brought forth, Elohim, Aleph To. Elohim is the mighty one, and Aleph To is the word, or the Aleph To is from where all debar comes from. Every single thing where debar comes from is from the Aleph and Taw, the Aleph Bet, the alphabet. And the word of the debar was with Elohim, and the word was in Elohim. Okay, this is amazing. He was in the beginning with Elohim, and all that came to be through him, and without him not one came to be that came to be. Without the word, without the debar, without the Aleph Taw, nothing came to be without him, because the Father used his word, his Son, his Messiah, his oath, his promise to bring all things to be. Go into that word debar again, and his decree, his deeds, his desires, his fulfillment, his instructions, his Torah, his manner, his message, his oath, the promises, his portion. All of that came to be through the Aleph Taw, the debar, the word, all of it. And nothing came to be without him. And in him was life, and the life was the light of men. And if you go back into Bereshit or Genesis and you start reading about when the Or came about, there was darkness and he brought forth Or, you understand what the light of men is implying here. Before he brought the lights, the greater lights, which were symbols and signs for us to help us, to lead us and guide us, he already brought forth light to divide the light from the day, so that he could divide the day, a yom, a full day, into two portions, darkness and light. And then it says there, he says he divided them, he separated them, and then he put them back together. He put ahad. It says the layil and the boker. Okay, so that's night and day. He ahad. He united one day, one yom. That's what Scripture says. So we see that he was the light, brought to divide the light from the darkness. He came to shine the light into the world. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. You see, the darkness cannot overcome Yahusha HaMashiach, cannot overcome the Messiah. So right there we understand that he is the Word, he is the Aleph Tau, he is everything spoken, everything brought. The Father used his Son to do this. His oath, his promise, his decree to us, all of this came through his Son, his Word, his Aleph Tau, his debar. So let's go into, Mashiach stated, he was the way, the truth, and the life. Of course he is. Let's go back into where this is. Derek is a way. That means a road, a distance, a journey, and a manner. So as you see here, definition is way, road, distance, journey, and actions. So he's the way. He's the actions that we need to take. He's the journey that we need to be on that road or that path. And he is the way, his Torah, and he is the distance that we have to endure. It says endure to the end. You have to hang on to this all the way. Do not take your hand off of the plowshare. The Aleph, which is also spelled Aleph Tau. Do not take your hand off of that. So he says, he is the way, the road, the distance, the journey, and the actions. He is the actions, the acts, the conduct, the course, the direction, the distance, the example, the favors. He's the journey, he is the line, he is the manner, the mission, the path, the pathway, the practice, the road, the roadway. He is the safely, is how we manage it safely is through him. The street, walking towards the Father through him, walkway. He is the walkway, the way and the direction and the way towards and ways. So your actions and your deeds, as you see, Hebrew is all action. It is not without action. Hebrew does not have an understanding of anything in Scripture that does not mean doing, to shema, to hear, listen, and do. Okay, and we see in the first occurrence of the word Derek in Scripture is found in Genesis or Barashith 3:24. In this verse it says, and this is the Hebrew, Aleph Tau Derek Etz Ha-Chaim. Okay, so that is Aleph Tau, the way, the Messiah, the whole entirety of all speech and the alphabet. Aleph Tau, way, tree, the life. That's literal translation. So we are told that the Aleph Tau is the way to the tree of life. I'm the way to the tree of life. That is amazing. So that's just in Derek. So we've already got debar, which should have blown your mind by now. And now you have Derek, showing that it is quite literally in its first usage, we are told that it is the way to the truth, the tree of life. Is he not the way, the truth, and the life? Is that not what he said? Ameth, that's truth. That means firmness and faithfulness. And again, faithfulness is action. Faithfulness is doing. Belief and faith are not without action. They cannot be, not in Hebrew, not in the Hebrew mindset. Maybe in our mindset, we can say, I have faith or I believe something, and then act contrary to what we say and still go around telling people we believe it. Well, that don't work. It don't work in our language, or at least it shouldn't. And it certainly doesn't work in Hebrew at all, because it's a firmness, a steadfastness. So truth is a steadfastness in your actions. And here we see a faith, faithfulness, faithfully, lasting, right, or what's righteous, what's true, what's truly truth, and truth that you may correctly. In other words, you may be doing something correctly and truthful. And he says he is the life, the Chaim. The Chaim is life. And from Chaya, it means life. It means alive. He is the life. He is what makes us alive. He is the life-giving. He is a lifetime. He is to live. He is living, and he is the sustenance. It says that man shall not live on bread alone, but every word, every debar, every Aleph Tau that comes from the Father. that is our sustenance, that is what he wants for us. So when we say, are you submitting to the word? Are you submitting to Yahusha? Are you submitting to his way, to his Torah? You see, Yahusha was the Torah. He was the Chaya. The Chaya, if you look at Chaya, and that comes from another word of Chomesh, which means the 5 books. So he is the Torah. He is the 5 books. When they sit in the seat of Moshe, those things you are to do. When they teach you from the seat of Moshe, when they're teaching from Torah, those things you do. He is not the Enoch or Hanok. He is not the Yashar or Jasher. He is not any other scribe. He is the Word. He is every word. He is every letter. He is every understanding and every root of everything Yah gave him to do and say. And he did them faithfully, that we might walk in him, because he is the way. He is the direct. He is the truth. The Amath. Faithfulness and firmness, the steadfastness to do. And the Hayim. He is the life. In him and through him and by him all things came to be. That is the word, the debar of Yahuwah. And nothing came to be that was without the word of Yahuwah. The Mashiach, the Miltha, the likeness and the similitude. So when we're submitting to the word, we are not to submit to the words of men and all these newfangled teachings, and they're not really newfangled. They've been around for a while. They're just being recycled again. All these people changing his times and his appointed times and his seasons, and because of the fact that we're studying this from a Western mindset, we're studying this in the English, and we're not going to be faithful and firm in the truth. And in Psalm 119, 142, it says, your Torah is the truth. The word, the Torah, is the Ameth. It's the faithfulness and firm steadfastness to hold on to what is right and what is true and what will lead you down the debar, the path, the way, the road that is correct, that leads to life. Brethren, you have to stop following men. Start following the word. Study to show yourself approved. Doesn't mean read it over and over and over again until you've got it down in the English, because this language does it no good. Your understanding is so limited. He said that the Ruach would teach you all truth. Torah. Torah is truth. And it would remind you of the things that Yahusha taught. And what did he teach? He taught Torah. He taught the truth. And he showed that he was the one that would come and shed his blood for the world, that the world may be reconciled back to the Father. It is absolutely incumbent upon us to study this out, to stop just reading it in our own languages and believe that we know better than somebody else. He's going to come and help you understand it. If you read it in the Hebrew and you think, I'll never understand the fullness of that, I think you can. I believe you can. And I encourage you, stop following people who tell you this just means that, or that just means this, and this is, we can go scriptural gymnastics and all the things that are going on out there. Yahusha did not teach any of that. He didn't teach any of those other books. He never quoted from a lot of those books. He mentioned them, never quoted from them. We have to remember, he was not a Zadokite. He was not an Essene. He was not an Enochian. He was the Torah, is the Torah. He's the way, the truth, and the life. He is the word of Yahuwah. He is all words from Yahuwah. And he encouraged us to stay in the Torah. So when we submit ourselves to the word, we're submitting ourselves to the Messiah, the Mashiach, and we're submitting ourselves to all that Yah has said in the Torah. We'll leave it there for now, and I'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about the Mashiach and what he taught in the Torah in the next presentation. We'll bring that forth. Brethren, we love you, and I encourage you as always, do not follow me. Do not follow me, but follow the word. Follow the Torah. Follow the debar. That will lead you to the tree of life. That's what he tells us. It says, Aleftah derek etz ha'chaim. We are told the Aleftah is the way to the tree of life. That's who you follow. And he told you to follow the Torah. We love you, and we will talk to you next time. And we will see you in the very next presentation as soon as we can. Remember to like and subscribe and to share. Mostly share. Share the Bashar, share the word, the glad tidings with everyone you meet everywhere. If they're a person of peace, go in and sup with them. If they're not, dust your feet off and pray. Yah will send someone else that they'll listen to. Anyways, I encourage you to walk in his light and his love, and to walk in his word, his way, the truth, and the life. We'll see you next time.